Good afternoon, everybody. It's wee Paddy from across the shock, and I'm going to start a new wee thing for Fridays for me. Again, I always wanted to change up. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But this is going to be putting two knives up against each other every Friday, and just to see what they're like, how they compare to each other. I want to pick knives that are there is differences between them, but I want to see if it makes any difference in whether I'd carry it more or not. And I'm going to start with two big heavy hitters. One I've had for a very long time, one I've had for a shorter time, but I have been using it uh, very regularly just to see how it holds up. So the first one is the Hinderer. This is the Hinderer 3-inch slippy. Obviously, there's no lock at all on it. That's why it's called the slippy. It's in 20 CV, FRN, and I love the pocket clip on Hinderers, but I like the look of Hinderers as well. Now, this one is probably one of the nicest Spydercos that I've seen. It hasn't got that huge big hump up here, but it's enough to give you good, good grip here. It really is comfortable here. So it's another knife. It's, G10, which is plastic. They're both plastic handles, basically. And then you have maxamet in this here and 20 CV in that. So this is about a quarter of an inch bigger than the Hinderer, which makes no difference whatsoever, especially on the cutting edge. If I can just show you here that together, if I put the cutting edge together, they're exactly the same size. So they're really nice blades, slightly different, a bit more belly on the Hinderer, and a straighter edge, that leaf shape from Spyderco. So let's just start with one of the things, materials, what they're made of. And there's very little difference in these. The only big difference is the blade steel and what it's made of. This Hinderer is in 20 CV. Thin stock, but it comes to a good stabilized. You can see the way that takes it right out to the edge. It's a thinner blade stock. I'll show you on the maxamet. There we go. There's the maxamet and there's the Hinderer. So definitely they come down to the actual Spyderco. They're coming down to about the same point. And this is swedged up here, so it takes the look off it, but you need to look at the back here. It's still a smaller or a thinner blade than the Spyderco. Does that make any difference to this knife? Not really. And not in use. I haven't found any use. These both are lovely cutters. This is a tall flat grind. This is a saber grind, but they come down to probably somewhere the similar edge, the way I have them sharpened anyway. And there is a difference in cutting between this and the maxamet. I don't know what it is about this edge in this maxamet. It's funny, we're on the podcast last night and I called it a grrr edge, and that's exactly what it is. It takes a wicked edge, but it really feels, it really is toothy. It's like a saber-toothed tiger. It really does just bite in and cut. And this slices perfectly. I mean, this is a lovely, it's down to, it's a half decent edge. This is just perfect for hard use, light use, anything. Whereas if you were to use this for light use, it would be, you're going below what this knife should be. This is a grr knife. This is, just let me at it. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to slice it. I'm going to hack it in two. That's my job. So, and the same can be said for the Hinderer. I mean, it's a real good hard use EDC knife, and it'll take on any job that I'll ever want. Both of these will take on any job I'll ever want with a folding knife. They are so the high end of a folding knife that will do anything you should want to do with a folding knife, and nothing it shouldn't be able to do. They both slice, they'll both cut, they both hold an edge for a really good length of time. Now, this is the big difference. This 20 CV holds an edge for, it's the same as M390 or 204P. They're about the same. All three of them are the same metallurgy. So it'll last long enough for anything I'm ever going to do. This beastie boy is a maxamet, and this lasts for a stupid amount of time. A stupid amount of time. So if I was using this as my EDC and I worked and I was like a joiner or something like this would be perfect because you're going to get that longevity. in the blade. That, I mean, if you're going to do something like that, or you're working around carpets, this is the perfect. This is, you know, better suited to everyday EDC hard tasks. But on wood, absolutely fine. There's no problem. But for the more stubborn or steel, the more things that's going to be rough on your blade. Like if you were cutting through a coconut mat, you want this and not this so much, because this will take it. This just cuts and cuts and cuts. Go over and see Cedric and Ada. He does the cut tests on the maxamet and the 20CV, and you just see the difference. It's a big, big difference. But it doesn't change the fact that this is just an EDC knife. I mean, these are EDC knives. Because they're, you know, this is a folding knife, they're not meant to do bullyish tasks, but both of them can do it. This one can do it and have a longer life doing it. But for everyday EDC, which is what I'm going to be using them for, yep, this is going to last longer, but it doesn't make it better because it's going to last longer. Aesthetically, which is way down the list with these knives, I just think the Hinderer is a stunning knife. And I know we're going to have the Spider boys say that the Spyderco is, and it is. I mean, it's one of the nicest looking. And let me say, I have taken the clip off. I don't like the spider clip, the wire clip. Whatever it is in my hand, I always get the clips and they poke into the back of my hand, don't like them. So I took the clip off it because if I'm going to use this, I officially can't carry this outside. So it's going to be in and around the house, or I'm going to take it somewhere in a toolbox to do a job. Do you know what I mean? So I took the Spidey clip off it because that's not the way I'm going to use it. I'm not going to put it in my pocket. But this is UK legal because it's under 3 inches. This is just over 3 inches of blade, but it's also a locking knife and a liner lock, which I really do like. I'm starting to enjoy liner locks more and more. But this has I love the Hinderer clips, or that style of clip, because it doesn't affect me at all. I could work all day with that clip. Strange, I know, but that's the way it is. Now, they're both plastic, so that's nothing. The hardware is a bit over excessive on the Hinderer. Does it need to be? Probably not. You know, you have 3 screws here and you have 5 here. Well, you know, it's the way they're made simply. But I don't dislike that look because a lot of the Hinderer hardware is nice looking. Sorry, there's 6 on this and 3 on this. Double the amount of screws, and I'm counting the pivot as a screw. So double the amount. But to me, it looks nice. These larger ones make it look attractive. And on the back, I love the way you got the filler tab in here. You can have an up or down carry. You've got a lanyard hole if you really want it. It's out of the way. So I like, aesthetically, I like the Hinderer more than the Spyderco, which is, again, rather plain. I don't like that wire clip anyway. So it's not the sort of knife that I need aesthetics to look good. But because I'm over here in the UK, this is a nicer looking knife for me to bring out. I like the bright blue. Again, I think bright colours takes away a lot of scare. When you look at a knife in its entirety, if you got a bright coloured handle, it doesn't look so aggressive. Whereas the greys, the blacks can look a little bit aggressive. Not that this does. This isn't really an aggressive. That leaf-shaped blade isn't really aggressive. But on the whole, I would probably rather bring this out. Now, what else? The opening mechanism. This is a thumb stud. Well, you can move this up and down to wherever you're going to find it easy to take it down. It's a 2-finger. It's one of those ones where I could do it one-handed, but it's quite a strain. I just flick it out like that and then just pull it straight up. Great retention on this knife. Absolutely super retention. This one has the Spidey hole. Oh God, why do you always do that in front of the camera? The Spidey hole, the Spidey flick, which is lovely if you want to use that. Again, just drops to your finger, away it goes. 2 fantastic opening mechanisms. I just like, there's nothing between them. So, what else? Build quality. They're both fun. I can't fault the build quality on either of them. They're both solid feeling. I haven't had any screws back out on me. I haven't had anything like that. So the build quality, how the knives fit into the handles, everything about it is really, really good. Comfort in hands, I'm going to say they're about even. And I know I took the pocket clip off, but I mean, taking the pocket clip off makes this actually more comfortable for long-term use, which is what I'm going to use it for. Having the pocket clip on this, it's one of the nicest pocket clips I have. I enjoy it, but in long-term use, you would feel it, as I do most pocket knives. And I don't wear gloves, especially working. I hate wearing gloves when I'm working. So, you know, the comfort, it balances out with these two, because one, this is I'm going to carry. This one I don't like the pocket clip, so I'm not going to carry it. I'm going to just give them all even. So I mean, it is pretty even up to now, but the deciding factor for me is the steel, and it has to be. You know, you're paying a lot. Look, this is a Hinderer, and this is, you know, Hinderer is one of the highest priced knives out there in their bracket. I mean, they are pricey. There's no doubt about it. This is about £300. Not over pricey for what you're getting. I'm happy what I'm getting for 300. 250, you'd be more happy. But this one is about 285 or something over here. For the maxamet, that is a lot of money for. And I'm going to say it, but I don't really mean it, if you know what I mean. This to me is a more basic knife than this. This has a bit of class to it. This just looks like a lot of other Spydercos, because a lot of the things are the same with them. The only thing I like about this particular one is it's well hafted around all the sides. So it's not, you know, like the PM2 would cut the hand off you in long tasks. This doesn't. It's lovely and smooth. I really do like that. I like the smaller leaf blade with that smaller ramp, but it's very purposeful. This is great. So, value for money. I like the Hinderer more in value for money, because it looks to me aesthetically more pleasing, which should mean nothing to do with the knife, but it's just fact. It looks pleasing. It looks the value of what I paid for it. The Spyderco maybe doesn't look the value of what I paid for it, but maybe that's its secret. Maybe that's the secret of the Spyderco, because this blade steel is phenomenal. I can't tell you how aggressive and damn nasty it is. I wouldn't like to get cut with this, because it'll go straight through to the bone and probably take the bone out too. I'm surprised, because I always wanted maxamet, but I never really got round to getting the money together to buy a maxamet knife. And then I got this one on a trade, which was great. So, what's the difference between the two of them? To me, aesthetically, and the fact that it's UK legal is a plus for this. But aesthetically, I like this better than this. Even that it's, take away the fact that it's UK legal. Aesthetically, I like that. It looks like I'm getting more for my money. But if you want the dark horse, you want the grey man, and it's got grey scales, like the link. If you want a grey man, this is the grey man. This is the grey. If you're a hard user of knives, I would skip this and go straight to this, just especially for that maxamet. Now, if I could get that a maxamet, I would get that, but I'd probably pay a lot more for it as well, because there's a big jump, I think, between 20CV and maxamet. But this is the grey man, and this is the Muhammad Ali, and this is just the quiet man. John Wayne, the quiet man, just comes in and he has enough to deal with whatever he's got. God, I'm an old romantic. I think I should take up poetry, you know. But anyhow, so in reality, for the price range, they're probably just as good. That maxamet makes up a lot of pounds. It makes up a lot of pounds. But, and this is the big but, I would definitely buy this again. 100%. If I lost it, I'd buy another one tomorrow. If I lost this, would I buy another one? For me, and this is just purely me, and this is nothing against the companies whatsoever, I don't think I would pay £280 for just maxamet, because I don't have, unless you're going to use it, to me, it's not particularly worth lying in your collection. Although I don't want this to leave my collection, but I know in 6 months' time, when I've done my full tests on it and see what I think of it as a cutting tool, already it's blown me away. I don't know whether it'll stay in my collection. That's the honest truth. I don't know. I would like it to. At the moment, I would really like it to, just to have it there, so that I can say, you know, when I'm doing videos, you want hard use, this is the one to go for. Because this is just blowing my head. That blade is just a beast. An absolute beast. So there you go. I can't think of anything else that I want to say about these. But yeah, I think if I was to spend the money again and lost either of them, I would get the Hinderer. And maybe I would just get the Hinderer first and then somewhere along the line pick up a second-hand maxamet. Because I don't think there's anybody going to... There's nobody that I know in EDC that's going to wear that blade down in their lifetime of having it. I just don't believe it. It just doesn't dull so far. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. This really is a beautiful knife and I love it. I designated a sentimental knife, but I'm reviewing it as just a knife. I just adore that knife. Really, genuinely adore it. But there we go. So that's what I'm going to do on Fridays now. I hope you enjoyed this. I waffled on a wee bit longer than usual. And as you noticed, I'm using my little tray here. This is my breakdown tray or work tray. The thing I like about this tray is, look at that. It's about 1.5 inches deep. So when I'm working at the table and I'm in close, it lifts it up more. And for somebody that wears glasses, has a bit of eyesight problem, that's a big thing. That 1.5 inches, it really does make a difference. And I'm really enjoying it. That comes from Small Shed Designs. I'll put them down in the descriptions. Over here in the UK, he makes it. The nice thing about it is the leather mat is not stuck down or anything, and he sells these. You can get these to replace once they get mucky, dirty. I mean, it holds the dirt pretty well. You can see where I actually do the work. It's getting dirtier, but it is just a nice little mat, and it's magnetic here as well, and a wee tray for all sorts. I just love this. Great work down table, especially at night time. Sometimes I would take it into my front room, and my wee table that I used to eat my dinner on, I'll get this up on it. So it's Steve over at Small Shed Designs. Put it down below. Go over and check it out. He does all sorts. I've also in the front room got my just my dump tray that he made me in this beautiful wood. Again, it's not as high as this, but it's nice, and it has different shaped holes in it for putting all your stuff. So well worth a look. I've got a video on both of them, the dump tray and the takedown tray. So have a look. Bye bye. I'm gone. I just keep talking. Sorry. Bye.